My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Bethany is a village near Jerusalem, and it seems that Jesus spent the nights when he went to the holy city. But above all, it's a place where he had friends. There, we are told that he went to the village and a woman named Martha received him into her house. And there we know that she had a sister called Mary and a brother called Lazarus. And these are the friends of Jesus. So Jesus has friends. And wherever he goes, he seems to make friends. And he's a true friend to his friends, as we see later on how concerned he is about these three friends, and especially about Lazarus. And then he is also God. And that means that he then elevates, he raises that friendship to another level, a divine level. And that's what he wants to do with us. He's our friend. He's our God, but he's also our friend. And we can talk to him. And he wants to come to our house. He wants to come to our hearts. If we invite him, if we let him. And so we can tell him already that we want to invite him. Jesus, come to my house. You're welcome. You can come anytime. Remember a film, My Best Friend. You probably remember it came out some years ago, where the protagonist is a guy who doesn't have friends. I think that doesn't usually happen. Usually we have friends. So this guy has no friends, even though he seems to have everything else. His family, he has money, he has contacts. And so one of his colleagues challenges him to bring his best friend or risk losing an antique of great value. And so he sets out to look for friends because he has a deadline. He has 10 days to present his best friend. And he finds this taxi driver and who helps him to go look for his friends. And of course, some of those old friends, they just look at him and they're wondering what he's up to. What do you want? And they just snub him. So he continues on his quest for his best friend. And then he discovered eventually that his best friend is a taxi driver, because he, on the other hand, he seems to make friends with everyone wherever he goes. And he even takes him to his family. He meets his parents. He takes him for a football game. So he makes friends with everyone. And it's very interesting, one of the conversations that they have when the taxi driver asks him why he's looking for a friend, how come he doesn't have a friend, and he thinks that it's the easiest thing in the world. And so he asks him, do you have someone you can call at 3 a.m. in the morning? And he replies, why do I need to call anyone at 3 a.m. in the morning? And this guy tells him, then that's a problem, that you don't have anyone you can call at 3 a.m. in the morning, and so you have no one who can call you at 3 a.m. in the morning. And he was trying to show him that friends are there for each other, and I'm sure we also have friends that we can call at 3 a.m. in the morning, or probably not all our friends. I mean, they're friends that we trust. There are certain friends who are very close to us, and we really trust them, and we can call them, we can confide in them. And this is the point, that we can call on Jesus anytime. That's what we are doing now. We are telling him, Jesus, come to my house, speak to me, and I also want to talk to you, because that's what friends do. They spend time together. Why do we make time for friends? Because it is pleasant to be with them. It is pleasant to be with Jesus. It is comfortable to be with him. And he also wants to stay with us. And he would also like to be as comfortable as he was in Bethany. You can very well imagine how, after a long day, or after having some of those long discussions he had with the Pharisees, then he comes back to Bethany, and he's there, and they're listening to him, they're talking to him, and he's relaxing. He's happy to be with his friends. But then what do they talk about? C.S. Lewis, who is a famous English writer, would say that usually lovers, people who are in love, talk about their love, but friends rarely talk about their friendship. Usually they talk about their common interests. So they're like two people who are seated together looking at something in common. Usually lovers are looking at each other, while friends are looking at something in common. And in this case, we see what happens with the friends of Jesus. They talk to him, they even complain to him. That's what Martha is doing. We are told that she was distracted with much serving. Then she went to him and said to him, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? So she's complaining. So complain to Jesus. And that's what saints do. That's what they have done with God. They're so free with him that they are ready to complain to him. And I think you can only do that if you are very free with the person, if you have that level of trust where you can talk to them about anything. There's a saint, her name is Saint Teresa, who used to tell Jesus, why do you treat me this way? You're treating me too hard. And she had a kind of a reply from Jesus saying, well, this is how I treat my friends. And then she tells Jesus, no wonder you have such few friends. And this is a person who has that trust with Jesus, like Martha. And so she complains to Jesus, hey, my sister has left me to serve alone. Why don't you tell her to come and help me? And there we are going to hear the reply from Jesus. Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Only one thing is needful. Mary has chosen the best part, and it will not be taken from her. So it's from very ordinary conversation. That's what friends have. Usually we probably don't have like very sort of sophisticated, complicated conversations. Maybe at times we do, but usually they're just ordinary conversations. That's what we are having with Jesus now. We are talking to him and we tell him what we are going through. And many times it's just very ordinary things. But then we hear a reply that goes beyond the ordinary. Hey, you are anxious. You are worried about many things, and yet only one thing is necessary. Now, this is like a summary. At times it is taken to be a kind of a summary of Christian life. Only one thing is necessary. So what is that one thing? To listen to him, to be by his side. That's what Mary does. She is by his side and she is listening to him. That's what we are doing. We are by his side, we are listening to him, and then it's possible then that everything else we are going to do is going to be done with that same spirit. So then of course, our Lord is not saying that Martha is wasting her time or she's not doing the right thing. No, she's doing a great thing. Serving our Lord and serving the others, that's great. But if only she had a little bit of that spirit of Mary, that she also sits down and listens to him, then probably she would serve better. And that's what Jesus is telling us today, that if you spend time with me, listening to me, then everything else is going to make sense to you. And that's what we are asking Jesus today. Then help me to realize that only one thing is necessary. There is a person who said that the saints are those who only want one thing. They only want to be with God. And because of that, then all the other things make sense. And they manage to do so many other things. And that's what we also want to do. We certainly would like to do lots of things. We have great ambitions. We'd like to do lots of things for the others. But then we need this one thing. It is to spend time with God. He's the one who has placed us here. He's the one who wants us to do all those things. But then we need to listen to him first. And so let us ask him, Jesus, help us to be by your side, be at your feet, literally, like Mary, who was there, just listening to every word, or just looking at you. Times it's not just listening to the words, it's also just looking at the face of Jesus, being in front of you, and seeing the way you react when other people talk to you, and he will help us to be by his side. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations which you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into practice. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.